Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. It's day 55, the end of week 8 of me doing the total diet replacement shakes while on the NHS Path Remission Programme. First off, apologies for not doing a recap last week. I just got distracted. I did some badminton, I was doing chores and then playing some video games with friends, and then suddenly I realised, oh crap, I hadn't made a video yet. And by the time I'd realised, it was a bit too late to make one. And to be honest, to be fair, it's quite an eventful week 7. It was all went quite well. Nothing kind of happened, and there wasn't really much to kind of talk about and stuff that I've learned either. So I was kind of happy just to leave it as just a quick update of my weight and measurements and things on a post on Facebook, and then leave it as that, and then kind of catch up over 2 weeks in this video. Which should hopefully be a bit more kind of like production focused. I'm going to try and do some editing and put some images in to kind of like state how things have been going on. But you'll see me probably make some like hand gestures to do stuff with images. And if you don't see the images, that means I've failed, and I need to do some more like learning about editing videos and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, it's been going really well. Again, so I'll kind of catch up on the measurements. So last week I measured at 165.1 kilos. And then in order for me to kind of like, I was quite close to reaching my goal, or like my personal goal of losing 10% of my original body weight. So from last week to this week means I would have needed to have lost I think it was 1.8 kilos. And then this week, when I weighed myself on Thursday, I'd lost 1.9 kilos. So excellent. I'm now 163.2 kilos. I've officially lost just over 10% of my original body weight. So yeah, really happy about that. And probably what I'll do is I have been throughout this kind of process with my weight, I've been doing a graph, so I'll try and put that here, so you'll be able to see that. You can see where I can like dotted a line through it, and I've put a little marker on there as like a blue line to show that that was where my 10% weight loss goal was going to be. So really happy about that. And so we'll get rid of that. And then if that works, that would look really cool, but otherwise not. We'll see what happens. So I think obviously the next stage is like, that was just kind of the first goal for me personally, was originally lose 10%, because on the NHS Path Remission Programme, in like the first 3 months, they kind of, on average, I see people lose between 10 to 15 kilos. When I first started it, I thought that was 10-15%, and I thought, cool, that's quite a bit of weight. And then when I realised it was actually kilos, and I'd already kind of beaten the kind of like 12 and 15 kilo mark, I was like, well, I'm going to go for 10% of my body weight. Let's lose 18 point, I think it was 18.2. It was 18.2 kilos. I've got it written on a board behind me for my goal. So it's to lose 18.2 kilos, and I've lost 18.3, which is great. And so the next kind of logical stage in my mind is to kind of like go down to 15% lost, which will put me down to 154.2 kilos. So that'll be my next goal that I'm looking for. Blood glucose levels, last week it was 6.1, and I kind of like was hoping that by the end of May that I was still going to be like either in that low sixes, like 6.1, 6.2, or at least in the high fives. And then when I took the measurements on Thursday, it was 5.8. So excellent. That was kind of like another kind of like personal kind of goal that I wanted to achieve done. So just hopefully next week we still stay within the high fives. Hopefully we don't go back over into 6. If we do, not a big deal, as long as it's again like 6.1, 6.2. It's still within that kind of like fluctuating range, which I'd be happy with. And last week when I measured my blood pressure, it was 122/67, which is, it's an alright range, resting range, that's quite good. Resting range. There we go. And then this week on Thursday, it measured at 119/63, which again, really good. So all of the measurements are doing really well in that kind of regard. I also decided to take a progress photo today. So a couple of days before I started doing the shakes, I took a few photos, one mainly of my face, and then one of me standing up, and then one to my side. And then today I again decided to take a photo of my face kind of sitting down, because I could remember how to do that one. Because it's really fiddly to try and take a photo that you've taken before in the exact same kind of like position. So I'll have a picture of that and I'll pop it up on the screen now so you can see that. And then I might put it over to the side here for a bit, and then it will disappear after a while, if everything works. So yeah, so as you can see in that is like, from the positioning that you could see in the old photo, that yeah, I do have like around the cheeks, and that the shirt, if you look at like say the undershirt and the overall kind of shirt kind of position, it kind of does feel like it's being stretched or it's tight. And then in the after photo, you can definitely see like even the undershirt, which by the way, the undershirt is 2 sizes less and it still looks a little bit baggy, which is great. I'll tell you about that in a second. And yeah, you can definitely see like in my neck line is a lot thinner as well. And it just goes to show that, because that shocked me. I didn't realize that I looked that different from when I started. Because I guess when you kind of look at your own face every day, you don't notice those subtle changes kind of thing. It's only like when you look back at where you come from to now, you go, oh wow, that actually is a difference. So again, really chuffed with that. And yeah, so about the shirt. So I wear these black undershirts that I buy from bigtshirt.com or .co.uk, I can't quite remember. And I originally had 2 left, but they had started getting holes in and things. So I decided, I know that oh, my phone's going off. They're going to mute that. So I decided, like, because usually I said, oh, I'll wait until the end of the 3 months before I buy any new clothes. But I need the undershirts really just to, wear. So I needed those. So I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll see what the size of these old ones were, and I'll go a size down to start small. So the old shirts were 6XL long, because I like them long. So I went on to Big T-shirt, found them, and I ordered 4 5XL long. And they arrived the other day, and I noticed when I opened the bag and looked at them, they were actually, I got 4 of them, but they were 4XL long. And there was a little bit of panic in me. So I took one out of the bag and I put it on straight out of the bag, and it fit. And it wasn't like snug, it fit, and it was a little bit loose, which was great. But then I realised, hang on a second, sometimes they don't pre-shrink them. It could be a case if I wash and tumble dry it, it's going to end up shrinking, and it's going to be a bit too snug or a little bit uncomfortable. But I did that. I washed one, because I only took one pack out just in case I need to return the others. So I took one out after wearing it, and then washed it and tumble dried it and put it out, and no, they still fit quite loose, which is really nice. So yeah, so from those shirts, I've dropped from a 6XL to a 4XL long. So that was really, really nice. Another kind of like a positive boost. Like, definitely tell that the shirts are getting looser and that I'm losing inches, not just weight, which is really good. So yeah, so happy about that. Talking with the coach last week, so I had to move my appointment, because usually I have to call on Thursday, but I had to call on Friday instead, because I had to go to a hospital appointment on Thursday to get my eyes screened, because when they diagnose you with diabetes or type 2, they have to do certain tests that they do your feet and they do your eyes, because when you have high blood glucose levels, that's where the blood vessels are kind of usually affected, mainly as in like the extremities, like your feet and your eyes. And boy, when they flash that light in your eye, it stings. And I had to have the drops that make my eyes all bug-eyed. So yeah, so that's fun. So then I had to have the call on Friday so I didn't have it interrupted on Thursday. And the call was, it went really well. It had a different coach, because it was a different day, and she was really kind of like interested in what I had to say and how I was doing. She was really responsive and engaging into seeing my positivity and my attitude towards it, and like just commented like, oh, I don't think I've known someone to kind of go this deep into like doing the research stuff. And that's the kind of person I am. If I'm motivated into something, I will go into a whole rabbit hole about looking up stuff about it and how I can do it effectively, what will help me achieve goals within it. And one of those things was like behavioral changes. So obviously now I've fully adopted that this isn't a diet. This is going to be a new lifestyle for me. And things that go along with those behavioral changes, there's something that they have called, well, they talk about called the COM-B model, so COM-B model. And it's about things that influence behavioral changes or help behavioral changes. And so the COM stands for capability, opportunity, and motivation. And it's so saying, like, out of those things, do you have any barriers that stop you from achieving that behavioral change? So when it comes to capability, do I have any physical boundaries? Like, because there are people out there who probably wouldn't be able to make certain changes to help influence those behavioral kind of mindset shifts due to, like, say, if there's disabilities or maybe the physical environment won't allow it or things like that. So it's one of those things that you kind of really have to kind of like engage and kind of analyze on yourself. Like, can I do it? And like for me, I don't have any physical barriers. I don't have any dietary needs that need to be met or anything like that. So I know that I have the capability to change and do that. With opportunity, there could be things like with social opportunities or, again, like physical opportunities. Like for me, the social opportunity is I don't have any, well, from you guys or anything else, that I have no negative people in my life telling me that I shouldn't be doing this. Because you do find that in kind of some situations, like someone will say that they want to make a change and do something, and they'll have someone in their life that go, oh, you don't want to do that. It's a lot of work. Are you sure it's going to work? And stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? What happens if it goes wrong or if it doesn't work? Then it'll be a waste of time, kind of stuff like that. But no, like in my situation, everyone I've spoken to about it, like, if anything, they've just been curious and have asked questions and want to get to know about it. And then when I tell them all about it and inform them and educate them what's going on, they've been really positive. All of you have been really, really positive and showing your support, which is fantastic for me. So my social opportunity is great. And then I've had, obviously, the physical opportunity of being offered like the Path Remission Programme to kind of like facilitate that change by giving me a reset and then go into it new. So that's been good. And then obviously with motivation, it's like, what's driving you to do this? Like, is it the fact that you do like want to change your life, or what's the benefits going to be from it, like the pros and cons, essentially? And like for me, it's a case of, yeah, sure, it'll mean that I'll be able to do things that I probably wasn't able to do before, like maybe with like roller coasters that I used to ride, I'll be able to ride them properly again. When traveling, when I went onto a plane, like I'd have to order the extra seatbelt attachment, and that would restrict what seats you could sit in. And so if I don't have to do that, I can sit in any, or just be more comfortable on a plane, in a cinema, anywhere where like they have standard seating, which probably wouldn't accommodate someone who was my size. Biggest motivator as well is I'll be able to buy more fancy shirts because I'll have more access to size ranges. Because sometimes, like, I'll see a really nice shirt, and it'll be a case of, oh yeah, it only goes up to like a large or a XL or a 2XL, and that's it. It doesn't go any higher than that, so I'd be limited. But when I get slimmed down, I'll be able to buy those shirts and do it. So yeah, motivation is there for me now. It's, I mean, some of it seems like fun motivation, but motivation is motivation. If it gets you there, it'll get you there, kind of thing. So that was kind of like discussions we had in that kind of call. And again, it's so along with those kind of like the capability, the opportunity, and the motivation, it's also got to be that mindset shift of just say, it's like, it's not a diet. This isn't a temporary thing. It's going to be permanent. And if you realize that it's going to be a permanent change, you then put more time into it to making sure it's going to be sustainable, like how you change your eating habits and diets in case of not restricting yourself from things that you did enjoy to not having those things, but changing them out to things that you would still enjoy. For example, like I'll still be able to have pizza, but it'll be a case of I change out the base from like being a full pizza base to maybe a tortilla wrap or maybe some sort of like Lebanese flatbread or something. Which is like lower in calorie, still as much volume, and then just changing out the toppings, like using instead of having full fat mozzarella, like a reduced fat mozzarella, making sure there's enough meat and protein on it so it keeps me satiated and things like that. Adding plenty of herbs and spices, because that will make the flavor and make it taste good. So it's kind of one of the things you get in kind of like this I've seen some influencers like Alex Gamble, who I've mentioned before, who I see videos of. He says you have to gain deficit taste buds. There we go. So you kind of you say to yourself, I'm still going to eat something that's going to be good. Is it going to taste as good as like a restaurant kind of things? Like, no, but tit for tat. Like, it's not going to taste as good as restaurant thing. This could be hell of a lot healthier and better for me. So it kind of makes up for it. And things like that. And like, it's where I've kind of seen some of his recipes and I've kind of adjusted them for myself. And then I kind of like comparing them to, like, say, is it like for something I would have bought from Tesco's as like a ready meal or anything like that. I've actually got a notepad here in front of me where I was working out one of my meals that I've made recipe for and comparing it to a ready meal that I would have had from Tesco in the past, and analysing my previous self. Like, for example, the Tesco's own spaghetti bolognese ready meal. I'll be honest, like, old me sometimes would not have just had one, maybe two, or even three in a sitting. And those things were 460 odd calories each. But the other kind of like macronutrients in them wouldn't have been enough to really make me satiated, because they would have filled me up because there would have been so much carbs in from like the spaghetti, but I still would have had hunger because none of my like muscles or anything else would have been like satiated from the proteins because there was so little in there. So that's like one thing learning about yourself as well, is that there is a difference between hunger and feeling full and knowing how to respond to those signals. Like, sure, I may not feel like I've got something in me, but I feel satiated because I've had a lot of protein, kind of thing like that. Or the opposite can happen, like I've eaten a load of carbs or anything like that, so I feel full, but I still feel hungry because I've not had anything in there that's satiating. So to take, for example, one of the recipes I've made is I call it my chilinaise, which is bolognese and a chili hybrid. And like, the reason it's called that is because it has like a lot of like pulses, legumes and vegetables in it along with the meat. Because bolognese is just more kind of like onions, maybe a bit of mushroom, carrot, and then that's it. Whereas chili would have beans and things and like that as well. So I've kind of just combined the two. And for just a 400 calorie, I think 420 calorie portion of that, which works out to be about 500 odd grams. And that's just the meat kind of bolognese bit as well. Like, this is not without any pasta. So 400 calories of that works out to be about 520 grams. And then the Tesco ready meal, which I would comparing it to, like, because they are around about 400 grams, that was 467 calories. So it's more calories, less, not as big, and that's like packed full of carbs as well because of the spaghetti. Now, mine would have carbs in as well, but the carbs from my meal come from the beans and the vegetables and things like that as well. So they're more complex carbs. They're not just pure carbs. So I think I worked it out in a case of like, my meal had 2 grams less fat, 26.5 less carbs, 23 plus grams of protein, and 4.3 grams plus of fiber as well. And that's another thing that people kind of overlook as fiber, is that if they're not getting enough fiber in their diet, it's not helping with that digestion and getting things through their system. And the reason why I've left it just as the bolognese sauce, bolognese kind of mix and no pasta, is because at the moment, whether I'm starting into food reintroduction, it's just going to be a 400 calorie meal. And then after I'm assuming after like a month or so, while doing that, I'll then be allowed to go back into having, like, say, 600 calorie, maybe 600 to 700 calorie meals to like equal up to, like, over my day having between 1,800 to 2,000 calories, depending on what my deficit needs to be. And the reason so I've left it as the bolognese is that when I go to that point of where I can just add, have extra calories, that's when I'll just add in some pasta, and I'll look and find something more suitable, like a protein pasta. I think Barilla do a protein pasta, which is durum wheat and pea protein pasta, which is a serving of that adds on an extra 287 calories. So that would turn that 400 calorie meal into a just over 700 calorie meal. And that's okay, because I think you should at least have one like big, large calorie meal, as long as it's balanced with the right proteins, carbs, and fats and fibers in there. Because when I work it out, like because when I start off, I'll have like 3 400 calorie meals in the food during the food restriction. When I go back to normal, I've worked out the routine of the meals I have. So, for example, my breakfast will be around about 509 calories. My lunch will be 381 calories. So my lunch is going to be some sort of like tuna cucumber salad-y thing. And even though it's 381 calories, it's going to be about 800 grams. So it's going to be a big lunch. And that will keep me satiated until I get to dinner, which is going to be 707 calories. So in total, from what I've planned so far, my days of like 3 meals is going to be just under 1,600 calories. It's 1,597 calories. Currently, at the moment, my app tells me that my like basic metabolic rate of like my maintenance calories that I need just to stay alive, this doesn't include any activity or anything like that, is 2,596 calories. So that basically gives me 1,000 calories to work with. So that's like 1,000 calorie deficit. And so if I want to keep, say, in a 500 calorie deficit underneath just my basic metabolic rate with no activity, then that's fine. I can have a snack or anything like that, or say if I have drinks or things like that, even though the drinks I have are very low calorie, like a litre of Vimto is only 20 calories. One of my cans of Iron Brew Zero is, I think there's 3 calories, I think we said. It says on here, per 100 is 1, yeah, so 3 calories a can. So, yeah, and then, so my app because I tell the app that I'm currently doing my calorie tracking on, that I do like, well, I'm pretty much sedentary, that I don't do any movement at all. So it says that my total expenditure is over 3,000 calories from 1, the basic metabolic rate, and 2, from the light activity that I do. It means that my basically my deficit is that 2,500 calories, so it's got to be in there. So as long as I stay under that, and with this meal plan that I have set myself, it's quite high volume food, but calories are quite low compared. And I've made sure that each one has at least around about between 45 to 55 grams of protein. So they're going to be satiating meals. I'm not going to feel hungry, and they're going to be high volume, so I feel full as well. So that's kind of like when I was talking to the coach, like today, oh yeah, no, it's like, I've been prepping all this kind of things. It's like, oh yeah, but we're not thinking about food restriction for like another couple of weeks. It's like, yeah, but when I kind of get into something and I really enjoy like doing the working out and the problem solving and all that kind of stuff, like I get really deep into it and working it all out, all the different things. I even work out the prices. So like, say, just the chilies alone, because the batch that I make will give me 8 portions. And I work out that each portion is going to end up costing me about £3.07 to make. And one of those ready meals from Tesco was £3.75. So again, making the saving by just doing a bit more prep work and doing it on my own. And like, it's not going to take me a lot of effort to make these meals either. It's going to be something that I can just jump into the slow, like after browning the meat and maybe softening the onions a bit in the frying pan, I then just dump the rest into a slow cooker, turn it on for 4 to 6 hours, and then that's it. I just then dish it up into portions and either freeze or put them in the fridge ready for when I need them. And like the breakfast is going to be something that I can prep beforehand as well. They're going to be like essentially like overnight oats, but using Weetabix. So Weetabix yogurts, some kind of like low calorie like syrup thing, and then some frozen fruit on top. And it's going to end up being like a large bowl that I can have in the mornings. And then, as I say, my lunch is going to be this tuna cucumber salad with plenty of like peas, carrots, like shredded carrots in there, a bit of red onion diced up in there, again with some fat-free Greek yogurt and some lighter than light mayonnaise in there, because again, it's one of those things where the choice of what you use makes the biggest impact. Say if I had full fat mayonnaise, that would pile on the calories, but if I used the lighter than light version, sure, the taste may not be as good, but I can add herbs and things and other spices into it to kind of compensate for that. Like I'm going to probably chuck in like a teaspoon of grated beetroot, because I love grated beetroot and it makes things taste more flavorful. So it's just about making these kind of smart decisions and kind of just making sure that it's something that's going to make it sustainable going forward, because it's not just a diet, it's going to be my new life plan. And then at the weekend, because I want to change up a bit, because eating the same meals can be a bit boring, but during a work week, that's fine, routine's good. And then at the weekend, I can do something special I've kind of worked up. For breakfast, I can have this using the Warburton like breakfast thins. I can have like an egg and cheese salmon kind of like toasty kind of thing for breakfast. Again, that's going to be around about 400 calories. And then for lunch and tea, I can use eggs and turkey burger in Warburton's thin kind of thing to almost make like my own healthier McMuffin, like sausage, like turkey McMuffin thing. And again, that'll be something that'll change that from that original recipe. When it comes to, I'm allowed to increase that from 400 calories to 600 calories. All I can do is just say, like, add a potato, slice it into fries, pop that into the air fryer with a spray of spray oil with some herbs on it, and add that to the side. That will now bump it up from like a 400 calorie meal to a 600 calorie meal. And say I've not taken anything away. I've actually added, and I've just made some changes, swapping things out for just healthier options. So instead of say using an actual teaspoon of oil to coat anything, I'm using a spray, which is going to drastically reduce the calories. So it's just about making educated, informed decisions and making sure that you just have that balance of proteins, fats, carbs, and fiber in there as well. So that's kind of like my deep dive into how my diet kind of like recipe kind of thing is going on with that. I even told the coach my YouTube channel name as well, so she may be watching now. Who knows? If so, I hope you like what you hope you like what you're hearing and seeing. So super excited for the next couple of weeks. So my call again is in 2 weeks' time, and I think then is when we're going to be discussing which path I'll be taking when going on to the food reintroduction. But I think I'm going to smash it going into it. I know I see in the community posts online a few times saying how they're a bit kind of like concerned or kind of a bit cautious going into it, because they think that now they're allowed to eat food again, they may go off the rails, or it may kind of start going undone. But I think it's more of a case of thinking that during this time, during the 3 months, you've kind of like hopefully dulled those habits and those cravings so much that when you go back into the food reintroduction, as long as you start like from the very beginning eating healthier things, hopefully those kind of like new flavors that you're getting back into again are enough to kind of like think, oh, this tastes like this is really good. Like you haven't just gone in like plain chicken and rice, whatever. So I think, oh, this is torture. With me eating my Chilenaise, which is packed full of flavour and herbs and things, and it's got all the veg and it's got meat in it, I'm gonna like love that, and it's gonna be something that I want to keep going and going forward. So at least that's what I think in my head anyway. As I say, none of this is like expert nutrition advice. This is just me thinking logically in what I think, in my opinion, would work going forward, and I hope that comes across, kind of thing. So excited for the next few weeks. Again, I'm going to keep on smashing it. The new goal for my weight loss is 15%, so we're looking to get to 154.2 kilos, and then I'm hoping that by the end of June, that we get my blood glucose level down to in the low 5s. I think it might be a bit optimistic to try and think I'm going to get into the high 4s, but if I can get down to like say 5.3, 5.2 by the end of June, I'll be golden. I'll be really happy. So again, I'd like to thank you guys so much for your support. I don't think I can actually, you guys keep me accountable, even though like it's me, I'm the one doing it. Seeing you guys' messages of support, and some of the messages I received are saying like, oh yeah, we've actually like looked into like our portion sizes, or we've kind of thought about making healthy changes to food because you've inspired us. Oh, makes me feel so lucky to have you guys with me, kind of supporting me. And I just want to make you guys happy and, well, I'd say proud, because I know you're proud of me and what you're doing. But yeah, you're holding me accountable. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. The next one will be obviously the update on Thursday of my new weight measurements going forward. So I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. And bye-bye.